Question for you. We were talking about this earlier. Have you heard people say now, they didn't always used to say this, and I guarantee you they won't be saying this when naturally gas prices will probably go down at some point. It seems unlikely. Have you been told one of two things? Either the president doesn't have any effect on gas prices, or the president doesn't control gas prices, or there's more drilling taking place actually under former Vice President Biden than under Donald Trump. That's something that we hear a lot of.
Yeah.
I heard it on CNN this morning. Here's the problem. No. So, for those of you who don't know, because you may live in some states where you actually have decent gas prices, and by decent, I mean horrible, but not, swallow a gun horrible. It's now reached across the country over $5 a gallon as of Saturday, June 11th.
Yeah.
Here you go.
For the first time ever, the average price of gas nationwide has hit an unprecedented $5 a gallon. But for drivers in California, that price is still a bargain.
She sounds so happy about it.
For citizens in California, it's a good thing they won't need fuel to keep warm.
Yeah. By the way, citizens of California, you haven't seen $5 a gallon in decades, have you? Meaning it's well above.
Yes.
Tom Selleck's taking all the gas for his avocado ranch.
This is my first high gas rodeo.
No, it's
No,
not.
I've been here before.
So let's go through some of the... Why is this? Why are gas prices so high? And I know that this is one of the things people inherently know. I know we had 8 years of Obama, then we had 3 years of Donald Trump. I don't really count the 4th year. That's what I call the lost year because of the fabricated government reaction to the pandemic. Then we have Joe Biden. It's really valuable. 8, 3, and we're going to have 4. High gas prices, record low gas prices, high gas prices again. So you probably inherently know that it has something to do with the former vice president, but they've been trying to convince you that it doesn't. And let me give you some information, just so you know it's wrong. All references available at louderwithcrowder.com. Here is a claim that they are currently making. You will hear this. Gas prices are only high right now because of what? Russia.
The average price of gas nationally today hit $5 a gallon for the first time. What's your message to the American people, especially as we head into the summer months, who are really struggling with this?
It's outrageous what the war in Ukraine is causing.
Okay.
I love that. It's Putin's price hike.
Yes.
It's Russia's problem for oil prices. Come on, Joe. Take some responsibility.
Here's the truth, is the majority of the gas price hikes took place before Russia. They were on a steep upward trend. Just
That
to be
does
clear.
look steep.
Yes.
Jeez.
About as steep as the right angle in the horse's back after that rider gets.
It's a black diamond hill.
Yeah. But there aren't even moguls. It's just a straight.
No, it's just, there's no bumps.
No bumps. So the majority took place before Russia. You know that, and I know that. And that might change, by the way, because the prices are going to continually rise, and that doesn't necessarily mean that it's because of Russia. They were going up before Russia. They'll continue to go up. The Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis, it clearly shows that there was an increase before the invasion. You have that chart right there. Okay, here's another truth. Since January 18th, 2021, Biden has, and this is important to note because people say, well, the president doesn't have control over gas prices. It's actually probably one of the issues where they have more control than most people, and that's because oil, in particular petroleum, is a highly speculative market. What do I mean by that? Sometimes you say, well, hold on, it doesn't have to do with supply and demand. It has very much to do with, regarding prices, projections.
Yeah.
Right? You're talking about future earnings. And so really helps determine whether you're going to drill, whether you're going to pull back. You will see a rubber band effect sometimes depending on when someone comes into office where gas prices go down just because of policies that may not be enacted for another year or two because they're willing to invest knowing that they'll recoup it. So that being said, former Vice President Biden has taken over 80 actions impacting what would impact gas prices, fossil fuels, largely against them. And here's the thing. Are you really surprised? I know people will argue this and say, well, there's more to it. Look. Again, the rhetoric matters when that directly affects the market.
Yeah.
Here's former Vice President Biden in his run-up in the election. He was clear.
I just want to give him a chance to respond, and then we can come back.
Let's stay on.
We're staying on this issue.
Number one, no more subsidies for fossil fuel industry. No more drilling on federal lands. No more drilling, including offshore. No ability for the oil industry to continue to drill. Period. Ends. Number one.
Are you ready to commit to the responsible phase out of fossil fuel production as part of your administration?
I guarantee you, we're going to end fossil fuel, and I am not going to cooperate with you, okay?
Now, before we get to the executive actions, you work for a fossil fuel company. I'll just tell you this.
Yeah.
Let's say the president said, I guarantee you, I will end Louder with Crowder. What do you think I would do? I would say I've probably got another year or until the next tax day where I get an auditing that destroys me. I'm going to pull back and save my money right now. Am I going to invest? Am I going to hire more people? Am I going to expand? No. Would I start drilling more? No. Would I invest in more equipment? No. Would I make more hires? No, of course not. You wouldn't increase the supply. You would reduce it because you try and collect the profits that you can because it's a limited window. When he says, in no uncertain terms, I'm going to end it. Now, let's look at his 80 executive actions that he has taken, by the way. I believe it was 80 actions. I don't know how many of them are executive orders, but a lot of them are executive orders.
Yeah, these are actions.
So here's one, Paris Climate Accord. He decided to join that Paris Climate Accord, which, by the way, does nothing to curb China's emissions.
Nope.
And...
And they matter.
Right. They'll get right on that. He revoked the Keystone XL pipeline. To be clear, sometimes they'll try and tell you that, well, Keystone is already done. Keystone XL is different from Keystone.
Yep.
He supported increases of $230 billion in taxes on oil. He reinstated the social cost of carbon metric. Some of the executive orders, there's day one, the climate change order. You have on January 27th, climate financing. You have on, is this May 20th? Yeah. Climate financial risk. Then you have... Is this
December 8th?
December 8th, clean energy economy, 100% electric vehicle fleet by 2035. That's before Elon Musk wanted to buy Twitter.
Now he's like, hope he gets to the moon.
Yeah.
Mars.
So it's very clear. Look, you have to look at these actions all going one way. And the claim that they're making, of course, that's going to affect the market. Now, here's another claim. Good, Tim. And they'll say this, well, it's a bounce back from COVID. Right, that's what's happening. It's a bounce back now because more people are driving because they weren't driving in COVID. Here's the truth, okay? There's no actual data that would suggest that at all. I think we have an overlay right here. You can see that before and after COVID kicked off, it was still hovering right around $2.50 a gallon.
Yeah.
That's not where the steep increase took place.
Yeah, and it matters. So when people talk about it, the policies not mattering on like a Keystone or something like that, or a Paris Climate Accord, like you said, if you pull supply from the market globally that the United States was able to produce or was able to produce in the future in a couple of years with Keystone, right? If you pull that supply from the market, that means the prices are going to go up. People are going to say, oh, there's not going to be as much oil available in the market, which means prices have to go up, right? Or we have to increase capacity significantly. We have not had a good track record of getting OPEC to play ball in the past. They do kind of what they want to do, which is why Joe Biden is going hat in hand to Saudi Arabia and other Middle Eastern countries and also to Venezuela.
It's also saying, so they can poop in the hat.
Well,
yeah,
he does need more hats.
His hat is just it's a porta potty, really.
But that's why he's doing it. And so people say he has no impact on this have no idea how this works. And the White House did say, thank God, that they're going to be releasing more oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, which is really for times of war, so that we can make sure that we can fight.
Well, we're at war. It's a proxy war with Ukraine, Russia. We're kind of send them $40 billion.
Basically, I think in this release, it's maybe a couple of million barrels. That'll do what I think a few hours worth of American consumption.
Yeah.
Another problem not solved.
No.
That he also takes no responsibility for.
Right, and that's important because here's another claim that they make, and this is the one that you hear everywhere right now because they know that it's okay, checkmate if it's not true, and Americans inherently believe that their claim is not true, so they just repeat it, just like safest, most secure election in history. So they're claiming right now that there's actually more domestic drilling under former Vice President Joe Biden than President Trump. That's what they're claiming. No. Okay. So let me explain to you. That's the truth. No. Let me explain to you. And this is one of those areas where nuance does matter, but it can be distilled. It's pretty simple, actually. The total number of permits issued under Biden in 2021, it was higher than Trump's highest year. Okay. Yeah. So Biden, first year was 4,800 drilling permits, right, in 2021. Trump was 4,600, 4,631 in 2020. Now, here's the thing. The permits issued are for leases sold mostly under Trump. Yeah. Think of them, remember rollover minutes? They're rollover leases. And then if you look at the trend, as expected, the Biden administration slashed the approvals for drilling by August of last year. So look at that chart. They go, look, there are more permits because Donald Trump was basically on his way to set a record year of permits. Then Biden came in. There were these permits that he couldn't necessarily stop. Boom, slash them. If you actually look on a month to month, the month where this was being slashed in August, guess what? It's very, very different than the months preceding it.
Yeah.
This is important. But the thing is, when they were campaigning, right, because they have to, this is what you see with the left. They have to be dishonest about their their positions because they've got to appeal to the abortion up until 9 months and including birth period. They've got to appeal to the Green New Deal crowd. They've got to appeal to the crowd that turns off, for example, Latino voters. So he has to say, I will end fossil fuels.
Yeah.
Then when they get into office, they have to govern more moderately. Why? Because Americans often, and sometimes this is unfortunate, vote with their pocketbook. It's really hard to vote against your own self-interest, even if you are principled. And in this case, it's serendipitous because the two line up. You can vote your principles and you can vote your pocketbook. So then he gets into office. We go from, I'm going to end fossil fuels, to now things are so bad, they're making the claim, end fossil fuels, there's more drilling under me than under Donald Trump. Well, yeah, that's because of the first half of the year, which you then stopped.
Right. And he did it for show, not just for the American voters, but he did it that slash in August. I think it was down to like 170 permits basically in that month.
Right.
He did it in advance of going to a climate summit.
Exactly.
He was basically trying to show the world, look, see, I'm doing my part, guys, right? This is what happens. He's coming into office, and at the end of last year, the oil company said, holy crap, these leases are 2 years. They usually come with a 2-year automatic renewal if they apply for it, right? They're going, we have to get leases because this guy's going to shut it down.
Right.
The White House's response to all this is to continue to taper it off and go as low as they possibly can, and then say, like you said, more. But here's the thing. They just issued a statement today saying the oil company CEOs, this was a threat from Biden to the CEOs,
right,
increase production and stop price gouging. He's now blaming them. You know what capacity is right now? It's over 90%. We're roughly at about the same level we were in like 2015, 2016. Right. That's not a problem.
And by the way, that's important to note because let's do that math, right? Okay, more permits total because of what happened under Donald Trump and what happened those last 6 months. But we're at capacity. What does that tell you? They're sitting on the leases because they don't want to develop it. They don't want to develop. They're not actually implementing the capabilities to drill. Why? Because it's very expensive. And this guy may or may not end fossil fuels. Keep in mind, I'm not a fan. It's not, let's find a middle ground, let's do it. It's, I'm going to, imagine if someone walked into any office, any company, and just said, I will end you. And then said, can't we find common ground? I don't know. You're pretty emphatic about that whole ending me stuff.
Yeah.
Watch Louder with Crowder live, Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern.